Hi, this video is an introduction to object-oriented design patterns. Object-oriented design patterns, or just design patterns, are certain solutions for commonly occurring problems that are found in various projects. So these were cataloged by a group of 4 people called Gang of Four. And Gang of Four is basically Eric Gama, John Vlisidis, Ralph Johnson, and Richard Helm. And these were 4 computer scientists and designers and programmers, researchers, and they were working in various projects back in 1990s. And they found that there are certain commonly occurring problems across projects when you are going with object-oriented design, and that can be addressed using a certain set of solutions or patterns of solutions, and hence they thought of cataloging these solutions that can be applied to commonly occurring problems, and thus they wrote a book called Design Patterns: Elements of Reusable Object-Oriented Software. And this book was written back in 1994 and was never really revised. It's a first edition, and it was never re-released with changes, like nothing was added or removed from the book, not even a typo, I guess. So that means this book is kind of a bible for object-oriented design patterns. So object-oriented design patterns or design patterns are divided into 3 categories: creational, structural, and behavioral. So these are there is about 23 different patterns in the book, and before we really go into details of those patterns, we should understand one point, that if we are not familiar with basic object-oriented software design principles, such as do not repeat yourself, or the solid principles, or you ain't gonna need it, or that kind of basic principles, it'll be a little hard to appreciate the benefits that design patterns bring. Plus you might just learn it as a tool and then apply in places where you really don't need it. So let's go ahead and first see the classifications of design patterns. So the first design pattern classification is creational patterns, which actually deals with object-oriented objects creation. And object creation can give rise to certain complexity and coupling in your application, and creational patterns addresses these and make your designs reusable and maintainable. So creational patterns are abstract factory, builder, singleton, object pool, and prototype. Next classification is structural patterns. Structural patterns is about classes and object composition. So that means how you use object-oriented techniques like inheritance and composition, rather associations and things like that, in a way that your final design is reusable and maintainable. And these associations or compositions give you functionality that you desire. And the structural patterns are adapter, bridge, composite, decorator, facade, flyweight, private class data, and proxy. So let's look at the third classification, which is behavioral design patterns, which talks about communication between objects in the runtime to achieve your solution. Basically, how you drive the messages between objects, or the communication between objects, so as to reach your solution, the final the solution for the problem you are really solving, and how that solution could be reusable and maintainable. So the behavioral design patterns are chain of responsibility, command, interpreter, iterator, mediator, memento, null object, observer, state, strategy, template method, and visitor. So these are the 3 classifications of design patterns. At the same time, we should understand that there are a lot of other best practices and principles that we should be aware of, rather than just learning the patterns, because the design patterns happens to be a very popular topic among interviewers, and they always ask you questions on that, but you should learn patterns from your experience and thought process rather than just for interviews. Because there is a saying that if you have a hammer in your hand, everything else appears to be a nail. So that means you will take your hammer and hit everything else. So design patterns should not be like this. You should not learn it and just try to apply to everything you see in the world. That won't be a good approach. Instead, you should try to solve the problem at hand with the basic principles with and applying things like the keep it short and simple and that type of principles, and create solutions that really address your problem, and then evolve that design and fit in things like design patterns if that is necessary. So that is what I had to say as an introduction to design patterns. And I'm planning to add more videos regarding design patterns, and I hope it will be beneficial to you. Thank you.